Hi there, welcome to my views and news. Warm welcome to all of you. Special welcome to members who have joined the live chat today. A busy day today, eventful day today. Somalia took some actions. We'll talk about that. Unprecedented tensions in recent years between Ethiopia and Somalia. The two countries have fought wars in the past, but in recent years, perhaps this is the most tense period in bilateral relations. What happened? Why did Somalia take today's decision? What is going to be the impact of this decision on Ethiopian attempt to gain access to the sea? Secondly, a major operation conducted by two Fano groups in the Amhara region. Details for you. One main road remained closed for several hours. Thirdly, Human Rights Watch published a report today about what happened in a city in the Amhara region in January and February. I was the first one to report about killings in that town in January. Let me welcome the participants who have joined the live chat today. Klaus knew always the first one to comment. Korkor Dang says, good evening. Welcome, Korkor. Only Amhara is a member. He joined. He says, hi. Only Amhara is a member. I have not seen Only Amhara here in live chats very frequently. Welcome to you, Only Amhara. Johannes Woldekidan says, hi. Tikim Tafira here too. Welcome, Tikim. Nahom Architects, a regular viewer from Addis Ababa, I think. Good evening, he says. Gurjisiyama says, hello. Mulki joined too from Somalia. Mulki is Somali, and today's hot topic is about Ethiopia, Somalia tensions. Samuel Falagas has greetings. Thank you, Mulki. Ashe says hi. John Spencer says hello. Enge some photo. Welcome, Sajid. I never missed any of your videos since you started covering the horn. Thank you, Enge Sham photo. He says hello. John Spencer, good afternoon. He says from Canada. Mulki, did you finally get some makeup done? You look younger for somehow. No makeup, just dyed my hair, nothing else. Tisfalam Tikliab says hello. Mulune Tulasa. Hi, Sajid, the person I like most. Mulune says, thank you, Mulune. Muni joined to here. I see lots of Al Shabaab today. Muni is known for making some very insightful observations and comments about other viewers and the situation in the Horn of Africa. Som here too. Nahom Architects is from Addis Ababa, confirming. I remember you told once. Ahmad Umar seems. No, you're not late. Uh, Red Moon Entertainment said is fake. What is fake, Red Moon? Casa. Name in Amharic, Casa. So, viewers, what happened today between Somalia and Ethiopia? Why did Somalia take this decision? And what will be its overall impact on Ethiopian uh, desire, Ethiopian plan of gaining access to the sea? Can we say that now Ethiopia can never gain access to sea, or this move by Somalia might facilitate Ethiopian ambition to gain access to the sea? And T and O joined to good evening, Mr. Sajid. He says, you are exuding quite the youthful charm, my brother. Thank you, TNO. Well, I think we know that since Peace and Love joined to a member, a warm welcome to you, Peace and Love. She's been missing Moni Moni in the live chats. Jamal Said here as well. Well, tensions that between the two sides started in January when the MOU was signed. Question is, why did Somalia take 3 months to expel Ethiopian ambassador? Somalia still has a lot to do. If it can do a lot still, if it wants to put more pressure upon Ethiopia, it can obviously stop Ethiopian flights. It can consider telling Ethiopian troops to leave Somalia territory, no matter what the consequences would be. But Somalia can make these decisions. Why now? This is the most important question. Why now? Why not in January? Well, I think the Portland Mogadishu dispute over constitutional amendments was last nail in the coffin of Ethiopia Somalia relations. Portland rejected federal constitution. It rejected the authority of Hassan Sheikh, though I believe Ethiopia had no hand in what happened between Puntland, between Garowe and Mogadishu. Garowe has been warning Mogadishu that Mogadishu should not go ahead with the constitutional amendments. Hassan Sheikh did not listen. He had support of other regional states. Almost entire parliament was supportive of his amendments, and the bill was tabled. Parliament approved. After that, Puntland issued a statement rejecting the constitution, announcing a sort of self-governance. And immediately after that, a top delegation from Portland visited Ethiopia, led by Minister of Finance. And I learned through some sources that Dini also visited Ethiopia, but it was not made public. Though we don't have any evidence. Reportedly, he visited Ethiopia. But the visit of Portland's delegation to Ethiopia was made public. And the two the representatives were seen holding discussions. So that was the moment when Somalia decided to expel Ethiopian ambassador. But again, I would say Ethiopia has no hand in what transpired between Portland and Mogadishu. But Ethiopia is in a position to exploit and deepen this division between Mogadishu and Garowe. And that is what will happen, because Somalia has been threatening Ethiopia, saying it will back groups in Ethiopia, it will activate armed groups in Ethiopia, but it will stop the implementation of the MOU. It has been backing elements in Somaliland too, SSC Khartoum and others, to fight against the MOU. Ethiopia will definitely do the same. And that is what happened. And by the way, the Portland delegation, it's not something new. These Somalia's federal member states, they visit other countries, they sign agreements without taking Mogadishu on board. It's a normal practice in Somalia that regional governments contact, enter into agreements with other countries. It has been happening for years. Puntland has been on good terms with Ethiopia. Same is the case with southwest state of Somalia. Ethiopia now will have access to either two ports or not a single port. It will have access to a port in Somaliland. It can establish a naval base there too. It can have access to Busaso port in Puntland too, or it will have access to no port in Somaliland or in Puntland. That is how I see the situation which is unfolding now. The Ethiopian ambassador, Mukhtar Ahmed, has been given 72 hours to leave Somalia. Ethiopian consulates in Portland and Hargeisa have been told to close, which will not be implemented because the federal government has no authority in these two cities, in these two zones, Somaliland and Portland. So the consulates will continue their operations. We have already seen statements. Somaliland and Puntland issued separate statements saying that the consulate, Ethiopian consulates, will continue their work in Garowe and Hargeisa. It means Mogadishu won't be able to stop the operations of these consulates. Yes, the ambassador from Ethiopia to Somalia is going to be called back as he has been declared persona non grata. We'll see now more such actions, more measures taken by Somalia and maybe by Ethiopia too. Not a good sign for peace and stability in the Horn of Africa. All efforts of mediation failed, it means. Talks held in Kenya, talks planned in Djibouti, nothing happening to diffuse tensions. Today's decision was a very big decision. Though we have seen that, if you remember last year, I think Somalia, Kenya tensions rose over their maritime border dispute. And I think Somalia withdrew its ambassador to Kenya. Later, the tensions were resolved. Though Somalia Kenya border is closed, Kenya is not opening the border with Somalia, saying that the instability in Somalia could creep into Kenya. But here, I think bigger issues are unresolved between Ethiopia and Somalia. Unless there is genuine dialogue, I see tensions rise in the Horn of Africa between Ethiopia and Somalia. Guracha joined too. Guracha Bati, a member. Welcome, Guracha. As says Hassan Sheikh tried to isolate Ethiopia. Well, Ethiopia has, as I said earlier, Ethiopia has no hand what is happening in Somalia. Hassan Sheikh has himself to blame for his dispute with Puntland. He could not resolve the issue in an amicable manner, so Ethiopia cannot be blamed. Does anyone have any evidence of Ethiopian involvement in the constitutional dispute between between Puntland and Mogadishu? ISRA wants to join, wants all Somalis to unite for greater Somalia. Mulki says we are governed by international law, we are not in jungle. Yeah, definitely international law prevails, but might is right, by the way. That is what happens in international affairs. Might is right. Adam says, you would say Somalia is wrong if we have embassy in Adama, Jigjiga. Well, you can have embassy in Adama or Jigjiga if the regional state is ready to welcome you. If regional state wants to split with Ethiopia, I think the parallels you are drawing are not fair. Agonofer says, why did Ethiopia call Puntland leaders to Addis? This is a sign of fascist Abiy meddling in Somalia's affairs. Well, this question should be asked from Puntland. Why did Puntland delegation visit Ethiopia? Because they were not on good terms with Mogadishu, because they announced self-governance. That is why they visited Addis Ababa. So you cannot blame others for your internal issues. Ethiopia does the same, by the way. Whenever there are internal conflicts, Ethiopia blames foreigners, Westerners, Ethiopian historical enemies. This is how all countries try to cover up their embarrassment. You should blame yourself if you have internal problems which you could not resolve through dialogue. Problem is that the leadership in these countries does not truly believe in dialogue. They're in power, they want to implement what they think is right. Lilo says, hi Sajid, how do you think Ethiopian diplomacy? Ethiopian diplomacy is not producing any results. As I said earlier, Ethiopia has no hand in what transpired between Puntland and Mogadishu. We cannot call it a success of Ethiopian diplomatic efforts. Rather, it was Somalia's internal issue which was not handled properly, and now Ethiopia will exploit the situation. Difabacho says, "Hey Sajid, you appear very well these days and hope you have recovered fully." Yes, I have recovered to a large extent. Guracha Bhati says, IMF refusal to bail out Ethiopia is blessing in disguise. We must learn to live within our means. Well, that is what the government will never learn, by the way, because the government has received extension in the deadline by Paris Club members. Deadline will expire in June now, so talks with IMF will resume this month. At the end of this month, Ethiopia is hopeful that it will get a bailout package from the IMF. Before that, you'll see subsidies removed. You'll see uh, birr value devaluation too, I think. So Ethiopia will have to have a bailout package. That is how Ethiopian economy can remain above water. Or support from some Middle Eastern country of a few billion US dollars. T and O's question were rather off uh, target, saying, Sajid, why is Abiy hesitant to change the status of the TPLF? I spoke on that in last night's live chat. Abiy and some government officials playing good cop, bad cop. Abiy does not want to give this relief to TPLF now, maybe at a later stage. So Abiy wants to he wants to keep TPLF under pressure, I think. Mayo is always teaching me about history. That is what he comments to about history, Ethiopia, Somalia history. I am not against Somalia. I'm just analyzing the situation. Amora Era says, hi, Sajid. So nice to recover from your illness. Thank you, Amora. Muni says, Sajid, do you think the MOU will move on? Well, Muni, I said that now either Ethiopia will have access to two ports, uh, the one in Somaliland and another in Puntland, or no access to any ports in these two zones. So things will heat up in coming days. Yes, Ethiopia will try to press ahead with the MOU, maybe MOU with Portland as well. Yeah, I remember Amora. People offered to buy my channel. A viewer from the US contacted me, a staunch Fano supporter, criticizes me a lot. I'll respond to the comments from this viewer after the chat. Lilo says tensions rising in Addis Ababa. How do you see Sunday's rally? Well, tensions rose over the demolition of buildings in Piazza. I think tensions are there, but people are scared. I don't think that there could be any anti-government rally or anti-government sentiments expressed against Abiy on Sunday. Let's see how big the rally would be. Rally can be very big. People from Oromia can enter Addis Ababa to join. From Shaggar, people can be brought to join to participate in the rally. The rally will be big. Let's see how many Addis Ababa residents attend the rally and how many come from outside. That we'll see on Sunday. Farah Abdis, Sajid, what do you think about ONLF with regard to its reference for liberation of Somali people from Amharic oppression? Well, ONLF is just issuing statements. Somalia would like ONLF to reactivate as an armed group. I don't think that ONLF wants to start an armed struggle. Prosperity Party can offer share in power to ONLF. I don't think that ONLF is going to start any resistance movement, armed resistance movement against the federal government. No, Muni Muni, I'm not talking about magnetism. Magnetism is not here today. Genie Musica joined to a member. Welcome, Genie. Bashe says, Hi, Sajid, Somalia should think wisely. Somalia will have to get its house in order first. That is the way forward. Otherwise, it will continue facing challenges from inside and outside. Master of Science, can you make a video about the towns under Fano and under ENDF? Well, it's difficult, Master of Science, because things changing very rapidly. A town could be under Fano today and tomorrow under ENDF. Fano fighters just enter town cities, they retreat. They're not based in town cities. Their bases, their camps are outside cities, towns, in areas where they can defend in case of military operation. So it's futile to compile a list of town cities. What is their capability? Do they have the capability to enter big town cities? That is how I analyze the situation. Jim Asgan joined to magnetism is mad at me, Sajid. Darni Singh. Where is magnetism? He's not here today, I think. Secondly, viewers, an operation by two Fano groups in the Amhara region today. The road from Kobo to Wuldia remained closed. Kobo to Elamata road remained closed as well. Fighting went on for several hours in this part of the Amhara region, which is North Waldo zone. Two Fano groups carried out this operation. East Amhara Fano of Mirir Wodajo and Colonel Mogazegai, Colonel Fantahan Wabao's Fano group. Both jointly carried out this operation. They blocked main roads and they carried out attacks on Ethiopian National Defense Force camps in more than one locations. There was intense fighting reportedly in several locations in North Wollo zone. Fano fighters managed to capture weapons. This is one of the most successful operation from Fano's perspective. Very well coordinated with advanced intelligence, and this is the first time that we have seen such coordinated operation with involvement of these two Fano groups and closure of roads, uh, Kobo to Wuldia to Gashina, and Wuldia to Afar as well, Wuldia to South Wallotu. So all roads remained closed. That is why I say it was a well coordinated operation. Military obviously silent, it won't issue a statement, but locals confirmed to us. People in Raya also confirmed, Raya Lamata, that the road from Lamata to Kobo remained closed for several hours on Thursday. Just one quick news story from Amhara region. Then we'll continue our discussion about Ethiopia's one attentions. Thank you, Yamasgan, for buying this super chat sticker. Uh, Human Rights Watch published a report today, report of what happened in Merawi in January and February when Fano and military clashed in Merawi city. Fano retreated. Military then took revenge. It conducted house-to-house search operation. It detained people. It killed people extrajudicially. Human Rights Watch is confirming that civilians were massacred on the streets of Merawi in January and in February. Dozens were killed. The dead bodies were lying on the streets of Merawi and they were not allowed. No, Merawi is not in Tigray, it is in Amhara region. Uh, and family members were not allowed to pick up their relatives, their loved ones' dead bodies. Human Rights Watch, interestingly, today asked UN to conduct an inquiry into what happened in Merawi, and it is asking the UN to suspend Ethiopian participation in peacekeeping operations. Interesting recommendation. So Human Rights Watch is accusing the military, Ethiopian militaries, that since it is involved in such grave human rights abuses, it should not be included in peacekeeping operations. By the way, Ethiopian government denies these reports. The official spokesperson, Lagase Tolo, was heard saying a few months ago that those who were killed in Merawi were Fano fighters, extremists. No civilian died, but Human Rights Watch is telling the story. Revenge attack was carried out in Merawi. That is what happened. Whenever there has been a massacre in Amhara region, in Tigray, the massacre was mainly a revenge attack. Revenge attack by Tigray fighters, by Eritrean military, by Ethiopian National Defense Force, by Fano fighters. That is what has been happening in Ethiopia for the last 3 years. People are killed extrajudicially in revenge. Military suffered losses in Merawi. It took revenge on people. Why? Because people are seen as supportive of Fano. And yes, people do support Fano, moral support, financial support, logistical support. But you cannot just indiscriminately uh, kill people publicly just because you think that they are, maybe they have links with Fano. fighters. Money Talk says Ethiopia is a regional superpower. Every country is dependent on Ethiopian economy. Well, I wouldn't agree with you that now it's a major regional power. I think Ethiopia lost its power a lot in the last 3 years. Ethiopia is faced with internal divisions. Its foreign policy needs serious changes. It has several internal challenges. Its regional reach is declining, I believe. Farah says Somalia is the most powerful country in the Horn of Africa. How to reconcile the two statements? Several viewers are commenting about Amhara, Somalis, talking about historical grievances. I always say, by the way, that don't generalize. We should not say Somalis are like this, Amharas are like that. There are people, good and bad people, in every ethnic group, in every region, in every country. Once we start generalizing, it leads to hatred, it leads to prejudice, I believe. By the way, several viewers were commenting in recent days that the MOU was dead and I should not cover the news about MOUs. And I said that, thank you, Moni. And I said that MOU was not dead, though implementation was slow on Ethiopian side. Somaliland was more committed, and all that is happening started when the MOU was signed. Had there been no MOU, Somalia wouldn't have expelled Ethiopian ambassador. MOU is there. MOU is there, and still the two sides, Ethiopia and Somalia, could not agree on how to resolve their differences. Yes, it could not be implemented due to massive pressure from Somalia. But to say that MOU is dead, I think it would be a mistake. Magnetism is nowhere to be seen, Yoni, today. Alex says, Sajid, can you say something on Mike Hammer and TPLF current status? TPLF status, we know that it's not eligible to contest any election. Americans obviously want restoration of TPLF status. Ethiopian government is not rejecting this request by TPLF. EMRB agreed to consider this request from TPLF about restoration of its status. The Ministry of Justice, NEBE, have rejected TPLF's application. But still, I believe that the matter will be discussed in coming days. And you'll see that maybe TPLF status will be restored as a political party. Before that, PP wants a share in Makale. It wants to be in Makale before welcoming TPLF in Addis Ababa. But it's a quid pro quo, which we'll see in coming days. All is not we cannot say that TPLF and federal government are on a collision course. Americans are here, and Ethiopia needs American support this month, especially because talks going to start resume rather between IMF and Ethiopian government later this month. And IMF won't approve any bailout package for Ethiopia without approval from the US. So Ethiopia cannot say no to US. That is why, but the same time, Ethiopia will continue the pressure which it has on the TPLF. Alex Awaka says, Sajid, what about TPLF's hope on USA to get back Volkayat by USA influence? Does it bring something USA? Well, TPLF wants federal government to hand over Volkayat and Raya to Tigray. Yes, it is flexing muscles. Yes, it launched some attacks in Raya. It was Tigray fighters who carried out attacks in Raya Alamata, a week ago, almost a week ago. Tigray flexing its muscles, but Tigray does not want to start a full-scale war. And Tigray is hoping that through US pressure on the federal government, it would be able to achieve its target of regaining Volkayat Merasagade, Koramamata. But it's a long way to go. The four-state solution proposed by federal government will take years to be fully implemented. Johnny Faleke is saying that revenge by military on civilians and by Fano cannot be equated. Yes, it cannot be equated, but Fano fighters do carry out revenge attacks. They kill people. They are involved in dozens of assassinations. They warn people if uh, other people don't stop supporting the military operation, they kill them. Yes, they have not committed large scale massacres, but they have killed dozens of people in the Amhara region. Isra says, Sajid, I want to know about Fano. If they take control of the country, what can we wish them better for the region or not? Well, Fano alone cannot run Ethiopia. And I always say that it would be an uphill task for Fano to reach Addis Ababa. It will take some time, maybe years. So don't uh, don't conclude that Fano is going to reach Addis Ababa and then regional players will have to take a position about this development. It won't happen in coming days, weeks, or even months. Fano will have to find allies. It will have to establish organizational setup. It will take some time. And Fano will try to find allies. I think internally, externally, so far it has not been able. So Fano's post-arrival scenario in Addis Ababa, I think it's too early to be discussed. Perhaps this says Ethiopia will win civil war for the next 1,000 years. Well, both are in the state of civil war, Ethiopia and Somalia. Both cannot afford any wars. They need to keep their house in order. They have a lot of internal challenges. Way forward is dialogue. They should sit and resolve their issues, their disputes. That is the way forward. No statement from Eritrea so far about the expulsion of its ambassador. Eritrean Pearl of Red Sea was asking this question. Somalia is not in civil war anymore, Farah is saying. Okay, that is how you see the situation in Somalia. So what can I say? Yemaskin says Sajid Mooni went to Ethiopia to get Bashasha mayor job, but sadly he was denied by Nachababi. I know why he went to Ethiopia. He was, I know what he did there, which meetings did he attend, but he was definitely not there to be a mayor. Sajid, rumors suggest Abiy has reached out to Kenya, Saudi Arabia, China, and Russia for mediation with Isaias. I don't know about these rumors. Problem is that all day YouTubers spread rumors, and I have been warning people that I'm seeing so many videos being made with false information, deliberately being made. The videos being made just to get views. So we should be careful believing and propagating and sharing these videos. Mulk is asking about a question which I have answered. I have done videos on that several times. EPLF Fano alliance, no such alliance on the cards. Tigray does not want to be part of any armed conflict now. It wants territories back. It wants restoration of TPLF status. It wants return of IDPs. It does not want to be involved in a new war. So I don't see this alliance. By the way, Amhara side is very eager. It wants to strike this alliance with Tigray. Tigray not showing any response. I think. Fano seems to be on its own, by the way. Other armed groups are not going to join Fano. We saw what happened in Romania, that Ola facilitated the rally organized to celebrate PM Abiy's coming to power. In Dembidolo, in Gimbi, in the heart of Ola's stronghold, rallies were organized to celebrate PM Abiy's coming to power 4 days ago, 3 days ago rather. So Ola seems to be backing the idea that Rome should be united in case of any adventure from outsiders to Addis Ababa. Tigray not interested. So Fano is on its own, I believe. It cannot find any regional allies. Yes, it stuck in a deal with some fighters in Benishangul Gomez, some Gomez fighters, but relatively insignificant. Alex, Fano groups have been trying to penetrate ENDF since last year. I know that when it happened, when they started their efforts to split ENDF, it has not happened so far. You won't see large scale defections from Ethiopian National Defense Force. Some have defected, but you won't see Tigray like situation where all not all, but top Tigray, Tigrinya speaking ENDF members and generals join TDF. It won't happen here in Amhara, I think. So far, it has not happened. Fano does not need help. It's a matter of time. It's not question of help. Fano will have to strike alliances to present itself as acceptable to all Ethiopians. Yes, maybe it does not need any military support, but it needs diplomatic internal support from other parties to be in a position to be a player in Addis Ababa. One last question, then we'll wrap up this live chat. Isra says, Sajid, your own opinion, how do you see things are going on in the region? Who is behind Ethiopian interference in Somalia? And why and what is the solution? Just your opinion. My opinion is that 2024 is a challenging year for the Horn of Africa. You'll see more tensions. Firstly. Secondly, Ethiopia wants to gain access to the sea. Ethiopia has decided that whether through Eritrea or Somalia or Kenya or Djibouti, Ethiopia wants to gain access to sea through a bilateral arrangement. It tried to gain access to sea through Eritrea. Eritrea didn't show any response. Ethiopia, frustrated, then turned to Somalia. It is not that Ethiopia is against Somalia. Ethiopia wants to split, divide Somalia. No, Ethiopia believes that for its economic survival and progress, it must have access to sea. I have been saying, by the way, that this Ethiopian ambition should be exploited by neighboring countries. It should be seen as a business opportunity by neighboring countries. They look how much Djibouti is earning from Ethiopia, billions of dollars from Ethiopia. Eritrea can earn this money too, Somalia too. But the problem is that so much happened in the past between Ethiopia and Somalia, Ethiopia and Eritrea, that they are not ready to make a new start. That is why we're seeing tensions. Tensions can be resolved. Ethiopian desire to have access to sea should be seen as a business opportunity by neighboring countries. Let's see what Ethiopia does, but so far it's not withdrawing. You will see more tensions. Ethiopia will try to push to gain access to sea. Helpful meter. USA is too involved in Ethiopia, but their moves do not make sense. How are they calculating the US interference in the Ethiopian context? First reason behind US involvement in Ethiopia is that US wants to keep Eritrea in check. US believes that if there are conflicts in Ethiopia in the Horn of Africa, Eritrea will increase its regional reach. That is why they want to resolve conflicts. They want to be a player in Ethiopia. If they lose Ethiopia, they have lost Eritrea. Eritrea is part of Russian camp, Chinese camp. They don't want to lose Ethiopia as well. So they have interests here. Ethiopia is seat of African headquarters. But yes, I would agree that the US involvement in Ethiopia is huge. US embassy, US embassy staff, they hold meetings with religious leaders, with regional leaders. They are mediating between Ola and government, Fano and government. They want to mediate as well. Mediating between Tigray and government. So the involvement is huge. Not good, obviously, for Ethiopia, but Ethiopia in talks with IMF for a bailout package. Who is behind IMF? Who is pulling the strings of IMF? Definitely US, European powers. Because the 50 minutes have passed, I think we should end this live chat session. Thank you for joining this wonderful chat. People talk to me less, they talk to each other more. I don't disapprove that. I think, yes, you should engage in discussions on this platform. That is what my views and news is for. Platform for healthy discussions. Yes, sometimes people's comments are a little strong, but I advise them to be restrained. But it's good to see people interacting. Thank you for becoming part of this wonderful live chat session. See you tomorrow. Stay blessed, stay safe. Till tomorrow. Bye bye.